Greetings, y'all. I'm sure many will roll in, roll out. But as always, Mësët, um, to all the beloved across the realm, to all the ancestors in every mansion, dimension. Um, it's been a while since I've done. This is old school. This is vintage. Not even Chief Iron Bush. This is vintage Iron Bush. Before I even received chieftain status, you guys, a lot of day one people, a lot of day one beloved souls remember always. No matter how cold it was, it'd be raining. It's pretty chilly out here now where I'm at. It's in the 30s, and I do have 100% wool on, but it's still a little nippy. So I don't know how long I'm going to be out here. I might hop in one of these vehicles if they're unlocked. I don't have any keys on me, but I just wanted to do open forum, and my son is actually setting up. Excuse me. My son is actually setting up the equipment in the house in case the great spirit gets flowing, and you know, we want to take it further and we want to make this into a few hour thing or something. Who knows? Might be 45 minutes. Look, the horn blows. There she blows. That's that's the horn right there. So that might be confirmation that it might be one of those nights where the great spirit gets flowing and we get it in. Uh, my trusty sidekick, my beloved youngest daughter, um, she actually went with her aunt today, so she is not with me. It's one of the first occasions she's went somewhere kind of far all day without me. So it's kind of new for both of us. So I know we both like missing each other. She called me. We spoke one, but they went to like Nickelodeon something or other with a bunch of her cousins. Um, but I just happened to come across um, some new data that's been released, and I want to tell you, this is a beautiful time to be here. It's a beautiful, excuse me, I don't like that word time. This a beautiful moment in space, okay? It's a beautiful point and moment in space where you are currently at now. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And uh I can't say you've all been here before. Um I only speak on things I know. But what I do know is if you're brought to a teacher myself, um, then more than likely, uh, the majority of the audience you have been here before, more than once, and I can tell you without being delusional, without uh, you know, just making things up or wanting it to be or something, I can confirm to you 100% that I have been here before. Um, when I was 8 years old, uh, and now that I've matured in the spirit, with the spirit, uh, I've even been shown how it was left to me, how the memory was left to I about how, the last incarnation I was in this particular dimension. And as I went on and I knocked and I asked questions, I asked the Great Spirit, more was unveiled to I, and that's how the teaching came to I about that I did on Archaics, about how the the alphabet actually has the entire incarnation um, in it. The alphabet that we use is the literal map for the incarnations, and it even shows when a group of beings went against the organic source code, when they broke universal law. It even in our very alphabet. That was, if you don't know, that was what that was all about. Was showing uh, time on, and not a linear fashion, on a cyclical fashion. Okay, and that's what it is here. In anywhere there's time. Okay, and as I always tell you, you are eternal. You're an eternal soul. You're not an immortal. Those that we call the Anuna or Anu-Na, most call the Anunnaki, they are immortals, stuck in infinity. Okay, they are passed over from ages immemorable. That's one of their creeds. Actually, some of you may have read it. They come from a time. See, I can use time when speaking of them. They come from a time immemorial, immemorable, or immemorial. And what they've been here so long, stuck in time, that their IQs are higher than you can even fathom. So therefore, and we're talking about not only time traveling, we're talking about time. They do time travel, but it's not. They haven't got it down to a science to the point where they can pick an exact day, hour, minute, and all that, and go and like some Back to the Future type stuff. Okay, it's more in a broad sense. Same way, like reincarnation. It's it's the same thing as that. It's more like they land in an age. Okay, that's why when you look back at time like the age of Gemini, okay, uh, they were here. Okay, they were here before that, and what happens is the organic source code always ends up wiping them out. Exactly like if you have a virus in your body is going to end up or finding a way to get it out. The first thing that happens when there's a virus or a malevolent bacteria in your physical body is your body floods it. Your body will flood it. Okay, that's a blister, that's pus, that's a pimple, That's many different things. Boils, um, snot, mucus. That's the flood. That's the deluge. That's the deluge. That's flooding. Okay. What is not pure in the gene rations or the generations. Noah was pure in his generations or gene rations. Okay. But not us. It wasn't for us. Okay, Noah is nothing more than a code name for Anu. Okay, Anu is known as their king. Okay, it is a title. It is not a particular being. It's whoever embraces a certain energy, which is the false father energy. Okay. Um, Now I could get into that, uh, but the real dilemma comes not with the father that the first father energy. It comes with the two sons, and that's called the most hijack, and that's the two jacks. No, most anciently known as Enki and Enlil, or Iya and Enlil, or Iya and Yahweh, because Enlil, if you put Enlil in a mirror, it says Yahweh in Hebrew exactly as it says Enlil um, in a mirror, like reverse. You know how a mirror reverses? If you put a mirror above something, it reverses in upside down. Enlil and Yahweh are exact reflections of the name, of the inscription. See, because people think a name, they'll say, oh, that's just, you're reaching. No, you don't understand that even the logos, something written, is actually has a vibration into it. Where do you think cursive came from? Cursive words came from actually two sisters, the word sisters, who were known witches, not malevolent, not benevolent, they were malevolent. And they came up with cursive. Okay, word sisters, WYRD. Don't take my word for it. Do your own search, and then, if needed, research. So cursive was made to, as you can look up some of the pentagram and uh, this with the sextagrams with the six stars. You can see some of them have the one line that doesn't break. It connects through the whole thing. It's interwoven. They believe that is what strengthens their spells through the logos. Why is logos so important to them? People say, oh, well, the will be in their symbology. Well, that's also been what's been in their uprising. Not only their downfall, it was their uprising, because the logos, without you acknowledging it with your carnal mind, speaks to your subconscious. If you've ever been in a state of transcendental meditation, whether through a mind-altering substance or just through good old-fashioned meditation, you will see, you can literally see objects that were in your crib when you were a baby, and you will remember that was my blanket when I was, I mean, who knows, maybe 8 months old. That was, you will see the thing that hung above your crib when you was a little baby. It's in you. It's still in you. Now, this is what is referred to as the Akashic records, but this is just the very skim, like skim milk. This is just the foam on top when you're only accessing you. Okay. When you get to the next level, you can access your ancestral records. Okay. Record, a chord is a vibration. So when a record is a record, all you're doing is strumming on that chord again. You're hitting that vibration and it's resonating with your emanation at that particular now. The now, you're strumming on the chord and it's a record. That's what the record is. Okay. So we can access we, us, can access all of our ancestral light code or chords, basically. And the chords are also the DNA. They tell you 12 strand DNA, two double helix and this and that. It's chords. They're all chords, okay? And records, duplicates. All right, that's all it is. It's all in the word, y'all. But some information came to me. Just a few moments ago. I had planned on coming to talk to you guys anyway, but some information came to me, a few moments ago, that I guess a certain amount of time has passed, so the CIA has released documents of two. They say it's from satellites, but we know it's not a satellite. Satellite is Saturn light. Okay, that's where they get satellite from. It comes from Saturn or Saturn light. Excuse me, I'm trying to get so I can get my hood on. It's getting a little nippy. I'll be alright. But so what they would do was, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they would send up hot air balloons. And that's how they would take the pictures. They still do to this day. Okay? You're thinking it's some kind of high-tech technology. They do have things that they send up there and they stick into the plasma, but they last only for so long, because the Great Mother can, anything inorganic, she senses immediately. So it's it's like picking off, when a mosquito bites you. It's immediate smack. Okay? That's how the Great Mother responds to these things, these devices that they send up and hit the plasma and stuff. But we also must know that not all of that up there is organic. Okay? It was just made by beings that you can't fathom the science. And that's who we call the Elohim Anunnaki, or Anunnaki. All right. Now it's all what they say. The devil is in the details. It's in the Bible. If you dig into the original etymology, it clearly tells you a group of beings, Elohim, more than one. And Elo is Leo, means light bearers. Okay, so Elo is where Leo comes from, and that's also where the symbol of the lions and with the cat heads that people call lyre. They say they're from Lyra and this and that. No, that's just because the pole star moves more frequent than you know. It moves in a 46-degree circle, okay, like this. The pole star is changing more and more than you know. So when these beings happen to be here, they call that particular star Lyra at that time, okay? But Elo is Leo, and Een means male, and it means more than one. So more than one man, okay, that actually did show up originally in the age of Leo, okay? Because this is what happened if you don't know the true story. I know there's so much online and you don't know what's what and this and that. I get it. That's why I like doing open forums like this, because just let it flow. Don't have to stick on one topic. I'll look at the chat and everything, see if there's any questions, but right now I'm just letting it flow. This is the real deal about Lemuria and Atlantis and everything in a nutshell. Okay? And maybe if I don't get to everyone's questions, I can look at it afterwards, and then we can dive into a teaching on a particular subject that I see that maybe people aren't grasping, and I can dive deeper and really get into the details. But this is basically how we are where we are right now in this dimension. All right, we are on a bigger Earth. All right, this is why people think it's flat. It's not that it's flat; it's that it's so big that it's gonna look flat. We don't have the means to even get higher, because this what they tell you is the Van Allen belt is actually it's so hot. We don't have anything that can get past that. That's the echo. That's when the wobble or the pep or the analemma energy comes back, the current. That's when they say you reap what you sow. What comes around goes around. Karma. That's when the energy hits what they tell you is the Van Allen belt, but they tell you it's out in some galaxy and this and that. It's all around. It's up here. Okay, it's not out in outer space and all that. Okay, the reason people think we're on a flat Earth is because it's so big. It's way big. Let me put it to you like this: that whole galaxy, every constellation, every planet, the whole solar system is all on the same body, which is the Great Mother, which is Tiamat. Our ancestors have known this many times, and many times, this group of hominids, highly intelligent hominids, has actually you can't even come. Well, yeah, they're hominids, but they're what's it called? Trans hominids. Okay, they've already merged with technology. You can't even measure it in years. Okay, they merged with technology if we're gonna put it in linear time, a long time ago. See, you can't even put it in linear time because they've literally their IQ is so high they create timelines, because time is nothing but a frequency. This is part of the story of Isis and Osiris and Set. Okay, Osiris and Isis are the same being. All right, Isis and Osiris is Isis. It's Isis reflection. All right, that's what it is. But let me not get off track. So, and that's what the moon is. That's why Osiris is cut into 13 pieces, and then the 14th piece she finds, and then she procreates. Okay, and that's the 14 cycles of the moon, 14 approximately 2 day cycles of the moon. And the last one is the first two. The first shall become just like the 13th zodiacal sign, okay, which is supposed to be 13. But it's just the same thing on a piano with the octave. The octave, each octave has 7 white keys and 5 black keys, okay? And the 13th one is actually in the same octave. Excuse me, it's the way. The point is, the 13th is the last one in this octave, and it's the first one in the next octave. It's the same thing with dimensions. There are 12 dimensions here. Each dimension has 12 overtones. An overtone is what frequency you're vibrating at within the dimension. Okay? This is where the first eye comes in. This is where abilities like telekinesis comes in. Or, hyper intuition. Even being able to move objects and things. I forget the proper name for that. It's, even astral projection and things. That's, you're not going into other dimensions. You're going into different overtones. Now, is that to say you may not go in? There's people aren't going into other dimensions? No, that's not saying that. Because the fourth dimension is actually, the corner of it is collapsed into the third dimension, and that's what is called a matrix. A matrix is when the corner of one dimension touches another. And that is where they gives these beings access that live in the fourth dimension, bodiless. They're disembodied spirits that have most, not all, but much the club, the hangout, like the Freemasons of disembodied spirits, where they hang out at the fourth dimension. Okay, and they can only enter through certain circumstances and alignments. All right, and then you have big alignments where it's pretty much an open gate. All right, and that's every approximately 6,400 and some years. There's only there's 4 openings per great year where there's a real portal. Everybody talks about lines, gates, portals, and all that's a bunch of hogwash. Okay, they're just talking about energy. It's not no portal and none of that. Okay, the only time anything that we can actually call that is like really like a real portal, it only happens 4 times a great year. Okay, it has to do with the 47 degrees. Now, I said 46 earlier. It's 47 degrees. Okay. Okay, so Tiamat, the Great Mother, is bigger Earth. Now, pictures just came out from 1969, 1972 from the CIA. They just unclassified them. People would ask why. This must be some kind of psyop or something, especially with the government. What's going on, brother? Especially with the government coming out with all this alien talk and this and that. Well, as many of the students that have been here for a while know, it's revelation of the method, all right? You are in a free will universe, meaning the truth always has to be accessible in all ways, all right? Not just one way. It has to be accessible always in all ways. You can turn CNN on tonight and you can get the truth, but do you have the eye to see? You can turn on Fox News tonight. You can get the truth, But do you have the eye to see? You can read the Quran and get the truth. But do you have the eye to see? You can read the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Popol Vuh. You can read all that and get the truth. Or you can watch all that and read all that. You can watch X-Men, Spider-Man, and you can get no truth. You can get all the lies. Do you have the eye to see and the ears to hear? Okay? And ultimately, you only have one sense here, and that is feeling, is touch. At one of your senses, they told you sight, what they say? Sight, smell, taste, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. It's all touch. To taste, something has to touch your taste buds. And then your neurons fire and it tells you, and your brain deciphers it and tells you what that taste is. To hear, the vibration has to touch your eardrum. To see, the light has to touch the retinas in your eyes, and then it has to touch the nerve endings that come. Your eyes are actually directly, it's your brain. Your eye is actually connected directly to your brain. It's external brain. So the light has to touch your eyes, okay? And physical touch speaks for itself. It's to touch your skin, the wind, even a breeze, somebody blow on you. It has to touch your hair. It has to touch. So there's only one sense here. That's touch. So therefore, if there's only one sense that the whole so-called matrix runs off of is touch. But yet, we only see 0.003% of light. And almost everything you touch is made up of empty space, aka antimatter. They call it black matter, antimatter. They just make it sound real bad. Okay, that energy, that space, is what the Great Mother is. It's the primordial energy. It's the primordial waters. It's what they can't figure out, no matter how hard they try. It's what CERN is all about. It's what everything is all about. So, meaning, everyone brings up the statistic about light, how you're only seeing 0.003% light. Do you know so if every sense, your five senses is touch, you're not even experiencing the real touch. So that's why you must have your heart, the mind of your heart, in sync with the source code, which is the A tone. Okay? The A tone meant. Meant is mind. A tone is the alpha tone, meaning the source tone, the source frequency. Okay? That is the Great Mother frequency. Again, referring to the teaching I did on archaics with the alphabet. I showed how the A was originally the mother, represented the mother. Okay? The pregnant, the womb, the pregnant mother, the Tamarans, or the those that call in ancient Chem, before it was called Chem, or Egypt, um, they likened it to the scarab, and then later the scarab was turned to the crab. Okay, and that's Cancer, and that's when the sun is at its highest in Cancer. Okay, but if that's when the sun is at its highest, why is it governed by the moon? Because the moon is the reflection of manifestation. I've told you guys that before. And the word man is just short for manifestation, or manifest, a manifester. So God is a guide. The word God comes from other things, but the true meaning of God is guide. Okay? So all gods or guides actually come from the Great Mother, the womb of creation, where organic minds begin, not your brain, the mind of your heart. In other words, your soul. Okay? So while you're here in this particular energy set, or people, now there's quite a following, not just with one platform, but there's many platforms popping up with the simulation theory. That's because the inorganic energy is at an all-time high right now. So of course it's going to seem like you're in a simulation. And the more that you believe that, the more energy you're giving to the fact that you're actually giving your soul force essence, your manifestation power, your manpower, your womb manpower. Well, not necessarily the womb man, because the womb man actually manifests life, brings life in. Okay, man can only manifest ideas, thought, thought, Tahuti. Okay, and you see how they flipped the whole thing in the beginning of Genesis, and you see how the woman was attacked first. All right, because if they could get the woman to buy into the masculine energy, which is knowledge, then that was it. They make it seem like the woman brought it to Adam and that da 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 da. No, the whole target was the woman. That was the target. It didn't matter if Adam ate from the tree of knowledge or not, because That's what Adam is. That's what masculine energy is. It is knowledge. It is logic. It is intellect. It is intel. That's what masculine energy is. It's a container. It's a guardian with logic and information and intel and watching and studying. You know, the hunter without hurting. The stalker of information. That is the masculine energy. Okay, all for what? To protect the all. In this particular dimension, realm, it's to protect the womb manifestation. The only thing some men are having a hard moment right now accepting this very rapid rise in the scales of my scales of the mother. Okay. Now, people will tell you Ma'at is that, they'll say something that's just an archetype that they made, but it just means mother, okay? Scales of the mother. So it is rapidly rising, rapidly. The old paradigm, the patriarchal paradigm is dying, and it's because it was never built, excuse me, it was never built on the sacred masculine. It was built on distorted masculine from the beginning. Divide and conquer, shedding innocent blood, accusations, accusing, uh, you know, um, adversaries, chosen groups, cho- you know, and that's distorted masculine. Uh, the sacred masculine is a protector of all. Doesn't matter if it's your child or someone else's child. If you see a child walking out in the street right now and a car's coming, you're gonna drop everything and you're gonna run out there. If a real man, that's or a woman, okay, and you're gonna run out there and you're gonna protect that child, whether it's a girl child or a boy child. That's what you have to understand here. We're not talking about the physical attributes that you have in your sex hormones. Okay? And that's the whole trance movement. Okay, I'm not going to say the other way. It's not, they tell you it's trans, but it's trance. It's those that are stuck in between two vibrations, like the magical flute that has the cobra come up out of the basket and it's going back and forth. Back, I don't know if I'm over here, over here, over here, over here, but I just keep dancing, and it feels good. It feels good. I'm just dancing. I'm just being myself. Man, it feels good. I'm the real me. It's the real me. This the real me. This the real me. They're in a trance. They're in a trance state. That's what trance is. It's the same word. It's Babylonian dog Latin word magic. Okay, so that is where all that comes from, along with a chemical assistance from you know what, you know where, with the pole, the staff with the snake on it. As you can see, I do not carry a snake. I carry the silver foxtail. Okay, I do not carry a snake on me. Not saying that snakes are bad. Um, at one point, they hijacked that too. At one point, a snake did represent the Great Mother as well, with certain particular tribes, because it represented coming. They would see the snake shed out of its new skin and go on rejuvenated and refreshed, and that's actually where the whole resurrection comes from. It actually comes from an ancient snake cult. Whether you want to know that or not, like I said, don't take my word for it. Search, knock, okay? It actually comes from the Brotherhood of the Snake, but they were benevolent, okay? The people, people hear that and they'll take it the wrong way, and then someone will probably comment in here, repent now, Jesus Christ saves, he's coming back, he's gonna kill everybody like Rambo, unless you went up to the altar and you said a prayer and you repeated after the pastor who just got done committing adultery on his wife and taking everybody's money, and just memorized the book. And they worship the book more than they do anything else, and they don't know nothing else except regurgitated sayings and slogans they've heard their whole life, because their mom and dad made them go there, and their mom and dad weren't even living by it. Their mom and dad was at the bar telling them, making them go to church, making them read, going home praying and stuff. As soon as the prayer's over, to get your MF and A in the bed, you son of a B. This is the way that, especially, I can only speak for Turtle Island, or you would know as America. This is the way it's been for the past 100 or so years, 200 maybe. Since what they call pale faces showed up here. And pale face does not mean white person. All right. There's Moors that are known as pale faces. Okay. That's where that whole thing's come from about, they call it black face and pale face. No, that goes much deeper than what you know. All right, that goes back to the dirty Moors and the hidden hand of black nobility, okay, who sold their own people out. That's where that comes from. So paleface is not who you think it is. All right, all skin folk are not kinfolk. Remember that. And the word kin or kind comes from the patriarchy. It was another way to separate you. So the entire solar system is on one plane. That's why everyone thinks it's, not everyone, but a lot of people think it's flat Earth. I can tell you one thing: it's not that little globe that they're showing you. That's 100%. It's not the globe thing that they're showing you. So when they use the name, Santos Bonacci, he gets a little belligerent with it, but he uses the word globetards. Essentially, that's kind of, I wouldn't call anyone that, but it's darn close to a pretty good description. because there's that's absolutely out of the not true. I mean, how many ways do they have to tell you? They tell you in the name NASA, that means to beguile or be deceived, okay, or to deceive. They show you on their logo with the forked tongue, okay. Then remember, we're talking about now. So in ancient times, there were moments where snakes were not malevolent. Snakes were benevolent. They were benevolent. Had benevolent meanings within the matriarch. Okay, as did Venus. Venus is Venus is such a key to all of this, including everyone that's infatuated with the whole Phoenix event. Phoenix. I'm just going to say, the Great Spirit just hasn't placed it upon me to do the teaching yet. But when I get confirmation, I will do it. I have people ask me all the time, when are you going to do this? When are you going to teach about this? What I will tell you is that it revolves around Venus, and it also has to do with Gaga, or what we call Pluto today. Okay, all right, and Gaga is what you would call today, to be most precise, you would probably call it a comet. What it is it's a rock that is it's a mute object, meaning it can be controlled easily by magnodielectric. And between this and Venus, but they have to wait on a certain alignment with Venus, and Jupiter has a position in this as well. But it's not how you've been told. It's not planets moving and all that. It all has to do with the 47-degree lens. That's why they worship that eye as well. The eye, the all-seeing eye. Okay, that above the pyramid and all that. Why do you think it's above the pyramid? It's a lens. Light has to come through a lens, and there's only two lenses, divergent and convergent. Convergent brings the light back together. That means when you're going up. That means when you're returning to who you truly are and where you are truly from, you become convergent. You converge, you unite. But as you unite, it also expands. Okay? But the divergent is when the light separates, but the expansion is in a separation. It's not in the light. Okay, the light, that's where the light bearers come in. They want to be the one that bear the light, and you don't have any, or little to none. That's why they have you at a job or a job, sacrificing. The Hebrew word Job means persecuted. So when you go to work a job or job, you're being persecuted all day long until you find your work. Your work is your passion, as I'm doing right this moment. Okay, I do not have a job. I work, which is my passion. When you have love in your work, it becomes passion. It becomes a passion, and you do it better, you do it more, and you do it freely. Okay, when you work without love, it's called a job or job, and it's a sacrifice, and you're persecuted. You're persecuted externally, and you're persecuting yourself internally, because you're not truly happy. Okay, even if you got a job or job making $85 an hour, when do you get to see your children? You just get to give them a kiss when they're asleep at night because of the shifts you work? I've been there. I've had a job or a job where I've made so much money I could have anything that I wanted. I could buy. I mean, I'm not talking about $1 million mansions or anything, but I don't want that. I've never wanted that. But anything rational, and I've had that. But but what my will was, I couldn't have, which was to be with my children. I could only kiss them on their foreheads when I came home from working around lead all night long. So it was taking years. You have to sign a waiver saying that you know that you basically, even wearing a respirator, you're taking years, could be taking years off your life, which I've already cast that down and declare and decree that that's not happening or happen to I. Plant. I've made car batteries and marine batteries, huge batteries for yachts and big boats and ships. That's how I know so much about the Cain Abel system, the Cainable, Joachim Boaz, the Temple of Solomon, Sol, Om, Moon. Okay, it's the 12 tribes, the salt of the earth. All of that is a battery. They're telling you about a battery. It's a galvanic cell. Look up 12-volt galvanic cell. That is exactly what they're telling you. But they're letting you know it's not 12 volts. It's 12 tribes of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and they're using it as a battery. Who's they? The ones that are stuck here, the Anunnaki, the Elohim. They are stuck in time. And them little watches you see that they wear on all them hieroglyphs, that is called a cosmic clock. That was put in, they used them so they would never lose track of the original timeline. Because without that, they'll lose track, and they have. Many of them are. That's why you see some of them here. Henry Kissinger is one of them. Henry Kissinger, you can take one look. George Soros, Cyrus. It's always the Rothschild, Rockefeller, okay? Cyrus, Soros, all right? Dinosaurs, okay? Kissinger, George Soros are two examples of people that lost their cosmic clock and they got stuck in time. So, and there's many others. Um, so they found other ways to remain immortal, but immortal is not what you think. It's not guaranteed for them to live on and on and on. It's by circumstances they must meet, and the meet is us. The circumstance and requirements that they must meet is us. We are the meat, the goyim, okay, the cattle, and we are their energy. And then the they is in higher realms as well. As I said, disembodied spirits. All right, they don't no longer have souls. That means they are permanently disconnected from source, from the great mother, from the womb, where organic minds begin and where organic minds return. Okay, only organic minds can return there. All right, organic manifestors, organic man. Man means woman as well. Okay, all right. It's just the woman happens to have the what is in heaven as on earth, has a piece, even more of the great mother here. So the woman has even a much higher honor, but the man has a just as high an honor to protect that. Why don't you want to protect that? What is the problem? And I'm not talking about just your wife. Now I know your wife don't want you out here playing Superman trying to protect every woman. I get that, but it's about right and wrong. Okay, your wife is not gonna be upset with you. I would hope not. If you see someone in trouble and you go protect them. The police are not. They're not even law enforcement. They are policy enforcers. That's what the word Police is policy. It was originally pronounced in Old English as policy. Policy. They're policy enforcers, and then they changed it to statutory law, color law. That's why they're able to put law enforcement on there. They ain't talking about the law of the land. They're talking about statutory law or color law dictionary. Why they wear all black? That's the little Saturn gang. Half of them not even Saturn bloodline. They just got initiated. They're sellouts. So back to the Tiamat. The original thing with Lemuria and Atlantis and the deluge. The original deluge happened on the bigger Earth, right? It didn't happen here. The original deluge happened in their crater. If you don't know, we're in bowls. That's why the Bible, even in Revelation, the book of Revelation, which comes from the Sibylline priestesses, the great mother priestesses, that was stolen by the Caesar of that day, blackmailed, and then they turn into the apocalypse of He so which riseth to. Then there was the apocalypse of Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christos. Christo, and then apocalypse of Jesus Christ, and then book of Revelation of John the Apostle. They've switched it so many times. But it says in there, the seven bowls. When the angels pour at the seventh seal, when the angels pour out the seven bowls, what are they talking about? Angels is nothing more than angles of light, of information, of energy. So when the bowls, seven bowls get poured out, they're talking about the seven bowls of energy signatures that are coming from Moon, Sun, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. That's what they're talking about. Okay? That's seven bowls of energy. All right. And the last one is the sun, which turns blue. And where we're at is people got this mixed up. There was somebody it was a man and a woman couple that got close to it, but they were off. They have since passed away under funny circumstances. I know some of you know who I'm speaking of. Bit close, but he was off. Brian was he was off. He was fixated on the winter solstice. It's not the winter solstice. That's when they're waiting on the red sun. That's when the deluge is coming, the flood. We're not at that point. It's the summer solstice that you will know. In the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice, in like Australia, but it's the same day. So it's the same exact day. And what'll happen is, instead of the sun starting to go back in a spiral back out away from the center point of our crater, which is magnetic north, because it moves. Okay, my back going. It never the sun is just the intersection of the triple black seed of the mother, which is inside the earth, which is basically just a very powerful, what you would call black hole, vortex. Now, that's off of vibration, not light. It's a vibration, but the vibration carries all. The vibration carries all in it. It carries every vibration, every hertz, every single hertz that you can ever measure. Like, it's immeasurable. We don't even have the numbers to measure the vibrations that it can have. It can cause liquefaction. It can do anything it wants. It's what they call the word, the Christos, the son of the seed of the mother. That's the vibration. That's the word. That exists inside of you. That's your soul. That's what vibrates and emanates your spirit. Okay? Now, when I talk about the Great Spirit, like I've told you before, that's the umbilical cord that connects you to the bigger source that is still you, but it's the piece that is undefiled, that doesn't have physical body or anything like that. Okay? So the Great Spirit is that unsevered umbilical cord. When it's severed by the distorted patriarchal energy, then that's them disembodied spirits and all that. That's the the Anunnaki. Okay? Now, do they take on bodies? Yes, if they can develop enough energy from those here, the manifestors, the man and woman manifestors here, if they be live so much that the lie becomes they think they know, whether it's a lie or not, it becomes they know, with what they call faith. The faith actually becomes I know it. That's when they can manifest into bodies, into this realm. But they also need plasma, okay, which is emanated from blood and sexual fluid. All right, that's why Solomon's temple is made as a penis entering a vagina with the two testicles and all of that. Everything they do, New Testament, Old Testament, that's new. I'm not being nasty, I'm being truthful. That's new, that's Old Testicle, New Testicle. I'm serious. It's the two masculine energies. And the Ark of the Covenant was the Ben stone, son of the sun, son of the son of the son of the sun. Ibn in Arabic, okay? Ben in Phoenician, what they tell you is Hebrew. All right, it's the son of the sun. It's to keep it going. It's to keep the double masculine energy. Ben is son. Enki Enlil. Okay, Ishmael Isaac. Jacob Esau. All right, Castor and Pollux Troy. Cain Abel. It's son. Ben. Okay, the Most High Jack. The two Jacks. All right, so the seven bowls are the seven energies that come in, and it basically it's a cleansing that happens approximately every 12,900. If you Google it, they'll tell you it's 12,921 years. It's actually 12,960 something. Because they don't take into consideration the difference in the light wave. Okay, they tell you time is linear, it doesn't matter, it's just time is time, 60 seconds, 60 minutes. That's that whole Sumerian. Where do you think that started? The Anunnaki. It was indoctrination from the beginning. Sumeria was originally in alignment with the Great Mother. You can tell from the name, Maria. Anything with Sumer or Sumeria, anything with Mer or Maria is the waters of the Great Mother. So Sumer, before they were hijacked, Sumeria was in alignment with the Great Mother. And see, our technology is spiritual, organic technology, meaning you don't have to see any structures like that. It all grows. It all is rooted to source, to the source code. All right, they'll tell you that's witchcraft now. That's it. Like if you herbs and things like that. Oh yeah, I mean it becomes witchcraft if you're like mixing up something to go against your brother or sister. Yeah, and that's voodoo, hoodoo, and all that kind of stuff. Santa Maria, all that. Okay, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's actually the atonement, the alpha tone of the mind, the original mind, organic mind, the womb, where organic minds begin. Okay, So the seven bowls being poured out by the angles is when, just like a lock with seven numbers on it, is when all the energies are in perfect alignment with the lens, the 47-degree lens that moves 23.5 degrees this way, 23.5 degrees this way. Okay? 4 times a great year, it aligns to a certain point where basically in today in right now's lingo, a portal opens that allows in and out access, all right, from above and below, not just up where the lens is at, all right, and side to side. um, and so the original flood happened when the who you know as what you've been told is Nibiru. Then it's not Nibiru. It comes from the word Nebharu, which is the crossing, which is just another word for your pineal gland. It's the middle. It's the crossing of the two sides of your brain. What they did, the Nibiruans or the Anunnaki, they did it unnaturally. They couldn't sustain their life. They did the same thing that pretty much would be happening in our crater, what they're trying to do. Because at first they came here to sustain the story they tell you. They even, it's revelation of the method, even the Sumerian tablets, the cylinder seals. They told you they came here to mine for gold. Yeah, the golden light, your aura, the AURA, because your aura is what keeps them immortal. It gives them more what? More time. What is the reflection of time? Emit. What emits for eternity? You. You're an eternal soul that emits eternal energy. Therefore, you are an eternal battery. But if they can keep you here, you're not an eternal battery. You're an eternal being who's become an infinite battery for an immortal class of beings. That is the Anunnaki or Anunnaki. They're not some race of black gods that's coming back to save black people. And I don't use these words black and white. I'm just telling you, I'm saying it like that because that's how people are saying, teaching it. Um, if you want to be real, they actually had very pale white faces. That's why you hear the story about them teaching the woman how to put on makeup and things. Okay, because they wore heavy makeup, they look like clowns. Okay, where do you think they get like the stories of it, like the movie It and stuff? We all float and all this and that. That's what they look like. All right, the shining ones. All right, that's what they called them. And then they called them it's just basically the seraphim, but the shining ones and the fiery serpents. The reason they call them the fiery serpents is because when your aura is vibrating at a certain vibration, it looks like a net. You can see the grid emanating, okay, and it looks like scales. It would look like, see my gloves? It would look like I had this in front of me going both ways, and it looks like scales, and so they call them, and it's light. They call them fiery serpents. So it had two different names. All right. When the original seraphim is a whole different thing. I'll get into that at a different teaching. But so the real flood came on the place that we call Saturn, the bowl, the crater that we call Saturn. Okay. Original name Linnae. All right. So Linnae got flooded by, you can't even imagine how much water is here. This is a water world. Okay. We are water. Water is light. If you don't know, water is light. If you pour any water, even if you pee, water spirals. Light, all light spirals, all water spirals when it moves. Okay? It's a vibration. Water is light. But it's the clear light. That's why when people talk about don't go into the white light and this and that, well, it's the clear light. and you have to be in alignment with the A-turn to be able to understand what the clear light is, because the clear light can look like darkness. Okay, that's what they can't fathom. They can't fathom that part. But basically, they destroyed their crater. This was during when we had what would be called the Garden of Eden is something that they made. It's a cube. Same thing at the end of the Bible when they say there's a cube coming down like a bride adorned for its husband. That's just the next Garden of Eden. Okay, It's a Merkaba. It's an external Merkaba. You do have the power to do anything you want. Excuse me, anything you will. So you can make a Merkaba. This is true, but there's no reason for it right now. So for you to be studying up on it and trying to make a Merkaba right now, there's no point for it. I'm telling you. When you're ready to have a Merkaba vessel, it will come to you naturally. But the difference between us and them, our Merkaba comes from internally. They need external Merkabas. That's what that cube coming down at the end of Revelation at the Bible is. It's an external Merkaba, meaning they're manifesting it, they're engineering it. Enlil, the Lord of Hosts, Yahweh, Yahuwah, who is basically their military leader, is engineering this. It has such an the you can't fathom it. You cannot fathom this. You would think it's something. It's more than it's ever even been shown to you in science fiction movies. So you can't. I can't even find the words to really give it to you. For real. Um, But what is that cube that they're talking about is a Merkaba vessel that is basically it's a battery. It's to it's like how bugs are attracted to that like the bug lights, and you hear the zap zip 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 zip. That's what it is. Streets of gold. Gold is so pure it's clear, and this and that, and there's rubies everywhere, and there's 12 gates and the 12 tribes, and there's 12,000 from each tribe, and da 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 da. First of all, they stole all that from us. All that is what I told you earlier. It's the chords. They're speaking of the chords, okay? And all they did was record our chords. That's what the 144,000 is. That's all that is they recorded our chords, our original vibration chords. That's why they call them watchers. They sat back and watched, and they recorded our organic chords. It's taken them so long, a linear time, we're talking possibly billions. What they say? How old did they tell you the universe is? 13.8 billion years. Kind of like 138 years Phoenix, huh? Well, revelation of the method. Maybe they've been stuck here 13.8 billion linear years. There's your infatuation with the 138. It's how long they've been stuck in time. They've been keeping track. Now, on a linear scale, 13.8 billion years they've been doing this. If you was around 13.8 billion years, how intelligent would you be? Think about that. And they merged with technology. Techni is idolatry. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. The makings of their own hands and minds they merged with. That is when the Great Flood came. The Great Flood was so big, they created the ark, the Argo. Okay, the story's recorded in the stars because that's where when it happens, the energy signature gets recorded above. What is loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. Okay, so if it when it's the same as above, so below, as it is below, so it is above. Okay, Bring heaven to earth. Your what is it? Your will be done on earth. Your kingdom come. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. Well, that's why the whole story is recorded in the stars. They came here from their crater on the Argo or the Ark. See, the Bible just got it all out of whack. They got the whole story just spread out to 40 years. It took them 40 years to get here. That's how far, even with their technology, that's how long it took them to get here to our crater. 40 years. They came here on the bigger Earth. All right. That whole story in Sumerian tab, they stopped at Mars and all that. That was just another crater they stopped at. Okay. And then they came in and they came, and what happened is we never used to have an ice wall around. All right. You could sail in and out. You could leave here on the waters. You could go into the bigger earth, and that's dragons and all that stuff. That's all real. See, this is where they get you with the word mythology. Mythology don't mean it's false. Okay, mythology it just means a story that is from the past. It's the same. You could call it anything. The Bible mythology, the Quran mythology. So, when they got here, they showed up with technique or technology, and they had already mixed with it the same way that they're trying to hit. Because their original plan was to just use us as batteries to mine gold. So they made a race, made them when they said they stopped at Mars in the crater. That's why they call the Greys Martians. Well, that's the Igigi. That's the B'nai. When you read the book of Enoch, that's who they're talking about in the book of Enoch. They're not talking about the Anunnaki, Enki, and Enlil and all of them in the book of Enoch. They're talking about the Igigi. The Igigi are the B'nai Elohim, the sons of the Anunnaki. They were made, they're inorganic. They only made 600 of them. Okay, 600 in total. That's the ones that met at Mount Hermon and all that was not the Elohim or the Anunnaki. All right, who now look like gray aliens. They use them in their time schemes. All right, when they go forward into time, they get small and shriveled. Everything gets small. Their noses, everything. Okay, and they get real small and shriveled and just look nasty. And they're real little, nasty. Get all the color gets sucked from them. They're even out of their eyes. Their black eyes, all of that. Okay, when they go to the past, they get bigger. That's why when they show up in the past, they're these. You see them on the hieroglyphs, and they're all big, and you got these little people coming with sacrifices, and these are the gods: Utu, Shamash, Enlil, Enki, and all of them. These are just beings that are just stuck. They are stuck here, and they have natural high IQs from being here so long, and they have mixed with what's called the beast, which is technologies, artificial intelligence, but it's not artificial. It's actually sentient. It's sentient technology that was made. Okay, but it was made from original source material. So it's not really artificial. It's just secondary, which you can't return back to the womb with the B tone. Only alpha tone, only the A tone can return back to the A. All right, the tone that holds all the tones. Okay, so they merged with that. They got their crater flooded out. Their original plan A was to come here and keep us as batteries. It was too much for them. It was too much. They tried it, so many different schemes. They've tried everything. Oh, my baby's pulling up now from her trip, so this getting ready and a big hug. Um, but let me finish it up real quick. They got flooded. They came here. The first thing they did They rebuilt their crater. Their crater is a crater inside a crater inside a crater. That's Atlantis. They rebuilt, terra formed the the waters and the land here with technology, and made what's called Atlantis. And they were, even in Atlantis, they used something called geomancy. Took us from a place called Lemuria, where we were in tune almost about 100% with the A tone, and they put us in a days, had us all come to Atlantis. The survivors sunk Lemuria and had the survivors go to Atlantis, and they did the same thing. They used us as this living brain type thing. Um, Guys, my daughter's here. I gotta give her a big hug and a kiss and just give her a bunch of love. So I love you guys so much. I'm gonna finish this up. Hey, baby, you have fun? Give me a hug. I miss you so much. You have fun? You guys tired? Yeah. I can tell you over there hobbling around and everything. Hey, Tally. You have fun? Hey, Terrence. Where Terrence at? Hey, Terrence. You have fun? He said it. He said it like the boy Corey, we was talking about, and he's like, I hate how Corey say my name. Hey, Terrence. You already dropped Archie off? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Give me a hug.
She had fun. She was
see though. I seen the pictures, y'all. It looked cool.
Girl, give me fun. Give me a hug.
Tell your auntie you love her and thank you.
I love you. You have fun.
That was awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you, Terrence. All right, love y'all. Guys, give me 1 second. If you can hang on for 1 second. I'll finish up in the right way. I don't want to drop nothing. This.
You had so much fun.
Baby, I'm about to come in right. Give me 2 minutes. Daddy's finishing up a teaching. Here go a blanket. Okay. I'll be in 2 minutes, baby. That's my baby, man. That's my heart. That's my heart. All my children. And all of you. Just because I'm not around them physically, man, like it's a connection we have. And if you're really on the A tone, then you get it. You know what I'm talking about. Like if I spent a week in your home and around you and your children, I wouldn't have to know you for years and years and years. Like I would love y'all to like. I know it's special. It's a different kind of special when it's your child, because that's an honor and a privilege that's been bestowed upon you, so you can feel what it feels like to be who gave us this. Even though this can be hard, it's meant to be hard. Like a whore at your spirit. Okay? These are allowed to be. Harms will come upon the real you. Realize that. That is the energy that is prevalent when I was earthed in this incarnation. Okay? I am a teacher through and through. And it's always was unveiled to me very early that it was going to be like this. I didn't know how. I didn't know how big. And I, who cares? When you care about things like that, then you're not ready for it. You're not ready. When you stop caring about how many likes, how many people, or how much money can I get, how many shares, how many views, that means you're not even ready. You're not ready for the real deal. You might can get big and get big followings and make a lot of money and stuff, but what are you doing? What are you really doing? Are you a hypocrite? We back. Um, I don't know if I got cut, but I just said just look at the fruit. That's all. But anyway, wrap up real quick because I'm gonna get in here with my baby. So basically, they came when they first got their crater flooded. They came here. That's the whole hieroglyphs of Egypt because this was knowledge that was given to the priests, the pharaohs, and all that back in time era, which meant the people of the mother. Time era. They changed it to Kemet, the blackness, the black. Uh, Even though I tell you the truth about what the real darkness is. All right, the triple black seed of the mother. All right, when I'm talking about their darkness and their blackness and all that, that's why they changed it to Kemet. They tell you that old story. Oh, because the soil on the Nile River was so black, they called it Chem. No, that's false. That is a lie. It was about the energy that overtook the people, and that's when they used the same thing they did at Atlantis, because after Atlantis got put away, basically. And let me tell you about Atlantis. They didn't go down; they went up. So I'll just tell you like that. That'll take a whole nother teaching. Atlantis ain't at the bottom of the ocean. Atlantis is up. Okay, it's in the waters up there. If you really want to know, because the same event that's getting ready to come here is when what took out Atlantis, and when there's no magno dielectric activity for 30 minutes, it literally can pull mountains out of the earth and take them out of here into the waters above, which is actually plasma. That's where Atlantis is, and you can actually see it when the event takes place. You can see the menorah. What do you think the menorah is? Take a menorah, look at the menorah, and put another menorah on top. It's the crater inside of a crater inside of a crater. That's why all Hebrew, Israelites, Judaism, and that whole thing. You think you're a Hebrew? Hebrew is the same word as Nibiru. It's the crossing. Those that crossed over. Those that sold out. Those that went over to the parasitic 369 energy. That's what the word Hebrew means. And the Greek mystery schools knew this. They're the ones that made the word Hebrew. There was no Hebrew. It was Isis, Ra, and El. And they were worshippers of the moon, the sun, and Saturn energy. And Saturn led the other, what you call wandering stars. Actually, all stars were actually called sons of Saturn. They were all called Saturns. But the one we know as Saturn was called El Elyon, the Most High. But the most ancient that you can go back, all the wandering, what we call planets, were called Saturns, or sons of Saturn. Okay, but that's a whole nother teaching. So they came here, set up Atlantis. They did something called geomancy, where they sunk our immaculate continent. I mean, perfection, beauty, just absolute beauty. Like, imagine the best Earth you could think of, and that's what Lemuria looked like. It was just beautiful. The most beautiful Earth you could ever imagine, like something out of the Avatar movie or something, man. Like, just it'll bring tears to your eyes. But it's coming back. Um, so Atlantis, they hacked the brain of what we call Gaia, which is, if you want to put archetypes on it, our creator is not necessarily the great mother. It's like her daughter. It's one of her daughters, but it's all really the great mother. So they hacked the energy, the atone, and that ever since then, that's why the ice came in, because the great mother made sure they'll never be able to hack the feminine energy again from the source. That's what Antarctica is. and it also blocked them off from leaving here easily. So now they got to do all this science and everything, and they what they've done is hijack the minds of man through what they do is they knock down your masculine energy and they distort it from being a protector into being a you verse I instead of a you and I verse. Okay. And what that does, it allows them to sneak by the masculine energy and hijack the feminine energy. And that's how they do it. They cannot manifest anything without feminine energy. No one can. No one can. They have to use the feminine energy to make anything come to fruition. Fruit, to make any fruit, they have to use the feminine energy. So they got all the majority of the masculine, the holders of the masculine energy, which are primarily men embodied as men here in this dimension, distorted. You versus I, competition, sports, this and that. I'm better than you. I got a better car. I got a louder stereo. I got shinier wheels, bigger wheels. I got bigger this, bigger that. I can do this better than you. I got more paper with some old mushroom head face on it. I got more digits on a screen than you. I got more square feet in my wooden little house with some bricks on it. I got this, I got that. You ain't got nothing because you're not doing what you're supposed to, what you're here to do. What does it profit anybody to gain this whole matter material realm and lose your eternal soul and become one of them and have to be immortal stuck here? That's what hell is. Hell ain't you burning up. It's you getting separated and have to be here. They shall seek death in those days and shall not find it. I'm going to leave y'all with that. As always, I love you. Mësët.